Oh, here we go. Hi, my name is Marsha Weigum, and this is Voice of Hope podcast and our Voice for the Voiceless nonprofit, where we help people to maximize their potential and soar. I'm so glad you were able to join us in this conversation as I'm on this journey of 21 days, a 21-day journey where we share an intent of ministry, the nonprofit, and the podcast. If you missed the first conversation we have, please go back and listen to the first one where I share my entire intention for the next 21 day ish. So you can hear that, you can listen to that on our podcast, Voice of Hope, and Anchor, or you can catch it on YouTube. Either way, go back and check it out. So in this conversation, I promise that I want to introduce myself. Yes. And I said I want to help people, or I am helping people to maximize their potential and soar. When I think soar, I think about the eagle. You know, the eagle is one of the birds, one of a kind, and it's very unique. And I love it because it has a lot of symbolic representation to my life and where my development is and was, and the things that I've been through, and people recommended to me. So the eagle is very symbolic to me. You know, the eagle loves the weather. He can stop them because when the weather comes, the eagle can soar. He soar against that weather there, those clouds, and he will go to the top of that and he will find peace. Can you imagine going through challenges and hearing that, yes, we can actually find peace in a storm? Wow, that's fair. That's something that we sometimes can't even conceptualize. So I am a wife. I have 6 beautiful children. My youngest was diagnosed from in the womb with Down syndrome. There is nothing that's different about this one child, to the point where I sometimes totally forget that he is unique. I am married for the past 7 years. Actually, this month we will be celebrating our 8th wedding anniversary and 10 years of togetherness. I founded a nonprofit, or a Voice for the Voiceless, for the past maybe 2 years now, and a ministry in the building. Right, I'm the host of our Voice for the Voiceless. For I'm the founder, the CEO of our Voice for the Voiceless. So a lot of stuff going on, right? And I'm very much passionate about helping others, helping people maximize their potential and to go to the end of the things that they're capable of doing, so that they can actually do what fulfill them and do what they were put on this earth to do. Well, oftentimes we can't do that. But you know what? The funny thing is that it wasn't always like that for me. I wasn't always the wife, the mother with the amount of kids that I always wanted, and giving back and serving and wanting to help others. It wasn't always like that. You see, I was homeless at 18 years old. 18 years old, I found myself homeless, and I was to move in with a 92-year-old old guy, grandpa, because I didn't have nowhere to go, and he opened his doors and say, you can come on in and be here as long as you want to. Can you imagine that? I mean, I didn't want to be there forever. So I keep, do what I'm supposed to do and grow and move on, now build my house and move on. I have found myself at the time later down with 4 children, a single mom, and the challenges. Challenges weren't new to me because I grew up in a very rough and poor, let's say poor environment. My mom was a single mom I have a stepfather at home. She had 8 of us. I was the fourth of 8 kids. And talk about challenges. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. Talk about hungry. I know it. I mean, hungry that we, always somebody always said to me, Marsha, are you saying you're angry or hungry? So hungry is not the same kind of feelings you get like when you want something to eat and you're not sure what to eat. Real, true hungry as a terrible pain. We have gone through it. We know what it feels like to have and not to have. We grew up sleeping on the floor. We grew up into home that have various rentals where you could stay inside at night and see outside through the crevets, like a strainer, living among the roaches, the rats, and the scorpions. It was so bad that my mom would catch the scorpions, put them into a bottle with alcohol, and use it. I don't know, people still to this, but use it for pain. And for my people out there who are Caribbean people who might can relate to this, we put those scorpions in bottles and with alcohol and shake it up. Of course, it was gross looking. But when we have any kind of pain, we'll use it. Mother will use it on us. And it seems to work. So talk about really struggles. I knew it. I grew up in it. So when I grew up and I saw my life looking similar to mother, it was very, frustrating and concerning that I wasn't making anything different of my life. I didn't like that, So I had 3 kids, single parent, and I was working as a caregiver, serving people, kids, young adults with special needs, all different type of needs. We serve them, but it was like the norm for me. It was like the norm, serving and giving back, and that's why service to me is no. It's not new. It's not hard. It's just giving of yourself. It's like it's treating others the way you would want to be treated if it was in that position. So when I find myself being a single mom, it was worrisome. But my biggest turnaround point came when I have my third child, and right after having my third child, I truly realized the kind of relationship I was having, because it wasn't the honest one. I see daughter, my daughter was born 3 days before his other partner as the boy. So I have the girl and she has the boy. And that's when I get a really awakening as to where my life is going. Marsha, what are you doing? This is not what I wanted. There's no way this thing can continue in such a dishonesty. So I started to truly seek a way out. I wanted better for myself. I wanted better for my kids. So I realized that I have to do something different. If you want something different to happen, you got to do something different. Else, we're going to be repeating history and we're going to be getting the same result over and over again. And I already see where I was getting the same result that my mother got, right? So I was very, very unhappy to put my kids through that. So I started to seek and pray, and because I have a relationship with God. When I was 16 years old, I got saved. So I have a relationship with him. Not long after that, an opportunity came for me to work in the States. A friend of mine who knew that I was looking for a better job. I was looking to better my life and my kids' life. told me of an opportunity to come to the States to work in McDonald's. So I took it because I know I built my home, but I wanted more. I wanted better education, financial freedom, and all of that, and just a better life, you know. So I came to the US and I did that. I leave my kids back home with relatives, and I came to the States to work and to go back at that time in the farm work. So funny because I while I was preparing to just share a little bit, I came upon my immigrant story that I shared quite a while ago, actually from 2017, in an article. For those who are on YouTube, we can see the video, but for my listeners on the podcast, you can just up over and you'll see. Just show the paper, but I will put the link in below so that you can up over and read the story, because I want I want to sit here and read it all. I don't want to hold up your time so much. So I came to the States and I work and I do many jobs, caregiving, babysitting, you name it, I did it. It was a very beautiful experience. It was kind of like the time period when there wasn't much chocolate people around, and it was kind of like different, you know. But I love diversity, and that's one of the things I said. There'll be words that I mentioned. Go back again and listen to the first recording we did, where I state my intention. But I love diversity. You know, there's a saying back home. They say that diversity is the spice of life. But when things are different and you get into that space to see the difference, it brings such beauty, right? And another thing is that we are all unique. So there's no two person who's the same. So that is even more fun too. So the diversity and someone, you know, it helps me to feel happy and feel at home some. There was things that it was so different that I had was to be the change in my environment. Like I used to, back home, I used to see people socializing and having conversation on the buses or in the marketplace or just on the street in general. But when I came here, that was different. So I chose to have conversation with people on purpose so that I wouldn't have to feel lonely or, you know, or to guess what was going on with people, why they're looking sad and so on. But I made the change and I realized that, you know what, everybody's happy now because wherever I go, I make sure I communicate and I socialize with people. But on the journey, being an immigrant woman, mother, who leave her kids back home to come to the States over 10 years ago now, I've learned a lot of things. I've learned that I didn't have to leave to come to a foreign country to make a better life. I learned that everything that I needed was already inside of me. And that's one of the reason why I want to share with you. I want to give you me, so that not for you to be like me, it's not possible, but so that you can be motivated in your corner, in your circle, wherever you are, whatever you are going through, you can be motivated to know that your potential and everything that you were meant to be or to become or to love, it's already was put inside of you. Yes. Can you imagine that? If I had just learned that before, well, probably I'll be somewhere else doing what I'm doing now, right? But probably wouldn't be from this part of the world. But learning that lesson has changed my life drastically. Yes, was it all bed and roses as an immigrant 10 years ago? No. I come to the States and I find myself again in another relationship, and domestic violence, you name it. It was so bad, I had just to move myself into safe house to get myself away from all of that drama, my son and I. But then there's another aspect of life again about Marsha that I realize, even when I go through challenges in life, I have to be mindful of saying things like, why me? Because I normally would get back an answer and it might sound something like this. So if not you, then who? Who would you wish this for? Who would you wish this upon, Marsha? Would you wish this on anyone else, really? So I've learned to not use those kind of words. Why me? You know, of course, the tears, the the sadness, and all those stuff come. But through my faith in God, it changes everything for me. So getting out of that situation, I finally, well, before getting out of the situation, I had a moment one day where I knew that I knew that I knew that something was up with my American relationship at this point. And I found out that my husband was not being honest again. But I was privy to hearing him and his mother praying for Marsha to die, praying for Marsha to get sick, and praying for my kids. No, praying for Marsha to die, praying for our kids to get sick, and praying for my dreams to be destroyed. At that moment, I know that I need to get myself out of that relationship, or that marriage, actually, and get on out. So it was that situation, that thing that I heard was the thing that fueled me to get on out. Why that moment and not before? It's because I know that that God does not hear those kind of ugly prayers. Those were not even prayers. Those are little wishes, but he doesn't hear them. So I get on out of there and make a decision that I am going to get myself out. I am going to live my life to the fullest. I'm going to max out everything that Marsha has, in spite of the challenges, in spite of the abuse, the stuff. Okay. I was going to get out, and then I was going to also help others who are going through, or who feels like there is no way. There's no way you can do this after all of that, after all this mess, after all what people said about you. So I get on out and I make a solid decision that day that I'm going to live my life to the full. And from that time until now, I've learned to grab the lessons from all the situations that I face in my life. I always try to seek the lessons, and the lessons prevent me from making the same mistake twice, right? I grab the lessons, I see what I have to learn from it, I keep it, and I use it as a part of my knowledge for myself, my kids, and for other people. And that's why I wanted to give you me straightforward, natural, honest, and share with you that life is never meant to be easy. It's never meant to be easy. The word of God says that he never promised us that we were not going to go through pain and struggles and all those stuff. Actually, he said, pick up your cross and follow me. But one thing he promises us is that he will never leave us nor forsake us. And I have proven that over and over again throughout my life, throughout the various things that I've gone through. I have proved it that God is faithful, right? So I'm on the journey from then to help others to maximize their potential. You see, when you say maximize the potential, you might say, Marsha, but what do you mean maximize the potential? I mean to live out everything. To like, bring everything out of your life to the full of what God put inside of you and I to do on this earth. But Marsha, what about, you might be thinking, but Marsha, what about the things that was spoken over my life that says, if you're like, if you have experienced anything like me, you would probably experience something like people calling you the black sheep, or they're saying that, you know what, you're not going to come to nothing. Or maybe you have gotten a diagnosis, or your child have gotten a diagnosis like I do, that, child of Down syndrome, and hey, you can just terminate him because he's not going to have any potential or do anything that's useful in life. Maybe you've experienced something like that. Or maybe you're in a situation right now that the people around you, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's a parent, tell you that you ain't gonna amount to much. Or I know people say a teacher says that, right? But that's just pure environmental mess. It's not truth. And I know it's not truth because they never make you. And the only person that can tell someone what's inside of a thing that was made is the one who made it. Like, you couldn't come and tell me that phone that you have or that computer that you have, I couldn't come and tell you what's inside of the makeup and what potential that computer or that piece of device that you have right there can do. Why? Because I didn't make it. I don't know anything about it. Have you even noticed when we buy a piece of equipment or a piece of clothes or anything that comes with a label, or let's say a refrigerator, it always comes with those little, those little booklets. The one that we didn't really read. We just quickly take it out of the box and think we know what we're doing, put it together, and just to find out that there was something that needed to be connected. And it's like probably a month after that, that's when we start to figure it out. But you and I cannot say what's in that piece of device, what's in the refrigerator, the makeup of it. We don't know, right? Because we didn't make it. And that's how you and I are. Our potential is inside of us, right? And because it's inside of us, the only thing that messes it up is our environment and the people around us and the things that they say and the things that we believe, and we internalize it as truth because we don't know that it's not truth until after we grow and we develop and we learn that. For example, when I heard my ex-mother-in-law saying things like, praying for Marsha to die and for her kids to get sick and for her dreams to be destroyed, I already learned that it doesn't work like that. But if I did not know better, I would probably be sitting down in there and later on get myself in trouble or get myself, do something out of temper that I would probably turn around to regret. But because I've learned that the potential of the thing is within the thing, it's not out here. And that's the kind of pursuit I'm on from that day, which is like maybe over 10 years now of just my coming to that realization from my immigration experience, that my potential was within me, and I didn't have to change countries to come and find it hard to make a better life. But I said, there's another saying that says, dash where water can pick up back. That means whatever I've done already, I just have to grab the lesson from it and just keep moving on. I ain't gonna try to say, I regret anything, right? So I want to challenge you. I mean, the stories are big and they're long and they're deep, but I want to challenge you. If you're a mom out there, a single mom, if you're divorced, if you're married, if you're an immigrant, if you're a mom who is expecting a child with Down syndrome or any other developmental diagnosis, or you're parenting a child with, whether it be Down syndrome, autism, cerebral palsy, any diagnosis at all, or any kind of report that, it's shocking, it's hurtful, it's different, I want to let you know that the potential is yet to be revealed. And you are a key person in that discovery and creating the environment that's going to cause that child or that person or yourself to go to that next level. I like to look at a fruit. Take any fruit at all. We want to choose anyone. Let's choose the apricot. The potential of an apricot is within its seed. And the only thing that can stop it or slow it down for a time is the environment it's in. So if you put that apricot seed in the right environment, right temperature, right soil, give it the right watering, nurturing, and so forth, it's just going to come to be that awesome fruit with a lot more fruit on it. Just imagine, can you imagine if and when you, or probably you do already, discover what those potential and capabilities are inside of you, and just like dig yourself through the stuff that we've been spoken of our lives, and the negative, things that was cast upon us, the things that we have to burst through, that mama had to deal with, our daddy has to deal with, and then we just get given a chance to bloom. Can you imagine? And that's why I want to challenge you, and that's why I want to give you me, and that's why I am passionate. Seriously, that's why I'm passionate about who I am, right? Who I am becoming, because it's a continuous growth. It never stops. Until we die, it never stops. It's a continuous growth process, right? So one of the things I want to share with you, because we're going to be doing this for the next 21 days, where I'm just sharing me, right? Sharing these various things. It's just going to be an awesome, beautiful, 15, 20 minutes or 10 at times, right? We're going to be sharing so that I don't want you to be like me. You can't be like me. I will never tell you that. Sometimes you turn on the various devices and you hear all kind of things that is not even truth, right? So can you imagine when you get to that stage of understanding who you are, whose you are, what's inside of you? What is inside of you, Marsha? So much capability, so many things that, let's say I didn't have all of the hiccups, coming through the poverty and worrying about, where you're going to eat, where you're going to sleep, whether scorpions is going to bite us tonight. With those roaches. Have you ever seen those big old? I call them Jama roaches. I don't even know what their name, but you have some of the roaches and they're so big. The back of them is really smooth, and when they drop, they drop because there's a sound. I have another set that when I was a child and growing up, I just called them the scaly back ones. They have some little grooves on their back, right? All of those stressors of life. However, for the duration, the time we want to connect with single mom, divorced mom, married mom with kids, family, we just want to connect with the persons who was going to hear the sound of my voice and can resonate. You see, we were never meant to reach everyone, but there's a particular group and set of people that we're meant to empower and to motivate them, to spark something inside of them so that they can take those actions to do exactly what they were meant to be. So they can show up and be that voice. As we spend some time together, we're going to learn a little bit about why the nonprofit, why I wanted to start that nonprofit, why I called the podcast our Voice of Hope podcast. Why? Right? You're going to learn a little bit of everything. Why? So that you can be empowered, you can be motivated, you can feel inspired. And when you feel inspired, you will and you must have to take inspired actions, right? So always have your little book and your pen, grab something. If you hear something that really, you have to turn it back, you rewind it and go listen again and be inspired by it so you can take those inspired actions. That's what I would love to know is happening for you, wherever you are, under the sound of my voice, right? We want to connect. We want to know what's going on. We want to know, want to see, what are the struggles. So what I wanted to do is to connect, right? And we're going to put, let's see, we're going to put a link inside of my Linktree app. The Linktree app has all the apps in which you can just open it, click on it, open, and connect with it, whether via Facebook, YouTube, on the podcast, or you want to sign up to be on the podcast to share your story, whether you're a mom with a child with a developmental diagnosis, or you have a really beautiful, positive story or mission or something that you have overcome that you want to share. I want to hear from you. Okay. So over the duration, we want to connect with about 10 people. And I want to use the same kind of system and the program that I use to help me overcome the challenges, to find out and to connect with who I am, to go back to my past, my present, look at the present, and to visualize and to cast a vision for the future. I want to connect with you and have you go through this course. Not sure how long it's going to be after you put it all together, but if you want to get to that next step on your journey, I want to walk through these things that work for me with you, and inspire and encourage you to take the steps that you need to be your awesome self, because everything you need is inside, right? I found out that there's like about 3 major things, right? Is the minute I was able to identify who my source, who my maker was, right? I didn't learn what my purpose was and is, and what he put inside of me. And then I get really focused on it, right? But in spite of your past, in spite of the present stuff you're going through right now, your potential is inside of you. And We're gonna keep talking, and we're gonna keep sharing, and for your own motivation and inspiration. So until next time, I am an eagle. Yes, I said my favorite bird. I am Marsha Weigum. I am an eagle, and I help people maximize their potential and keep soaring. Until next time, join me again and walk good.